What's up, guys? I'm Gus again. For the affirmative side, just to refresh your guys' memory, our plan of action was to increase the federal minimum wage from $7.25 an hour to $10.10 an hour. About 15 minutes ago, Robert addressed our workability and disadvantages to our plan of action, and I'm here to refute that. So Robert had two disadvantage claims, one being that raising the federal minimum wage would increase poverty. The second one he said was that increasing the minimum wage would have a negative impact on high school students, giving them an extra incentive to drop out and attempt to start working a minimum wage job. And he stated one workability claim against our plan of action, which that most families are in poverty not because they're working a minimum wage job, but it's because they aren't employed at all. Back to his disadvantage claim. My response to that, in one subpoint, is that raising the federal minimum wage would actually decrease poverty, as he said it would increase it. So an article from the Washington Post stated raising the minimum wage to $10.10 an hour, as many Democrats are proposing in 2014, would reduce the number of people living in poverty by 4.6 million. It would also boost the incomes of those at the 10th percentile by $1,700. That's a significant increase in the quality of life for our worst off that doesn't require the government to tax and spend a single additional dollar. Also in the same article from the Washington Post, it was found that many economics have argued the minimum wage substantially held up the lower tail of the U.S. earnings distribution through the late 1970s, but this effect stopped as the real value of the minimum wage fell in subsequent decades. This gives us an empirical handle on how the minimum wage would help deal with both insufficient low-end wages and inequality, and the results are striking. Now to Robert's second disadvantage claim. We believe that raising the minimum wage would actually increase school attendance. A 2014 study found that raising the Californian minimum wage to $13 an hour would increase the incomes of 7.5 million families, meaning fewer would live in poverty. Teens who live in poverty are twice as likely to miss 3 or more days of school per month compared to those who do not. Thus, raising the minimum wage and lifting families out of poverty would mean children would miss fewer school days. So if this can happen in California, which is one of the biggest economies in our country, this can happen federally as well. Also, in the same study, also found that recent experimental studies show that increasing income can improve school performance. Now to my second subpoint, refuting his disadvantage claim. Raising the federal minimum wage would decrease high school dropout rate, which he previously said would increase it. An article from the working paper stated increasing the minimum wage would allow teens to work fewer hours for the same amount of pay, giving them more time to study and reducing the likelihood that they would drop out of high school. Now on to Robert's workability claim. He, again, to refresh your memory, stated that most families are in poverty not because they're working a minimum wage job, but because they aren't employed at all. Now, I believe that we did research, and raising the minimum wage actually has no effect on employment rates. A 1994 study by economics Alan Kruger, PhD, and David Card, PhD, compared employment in the fast food industry after New Jersey raised its minimum wage by 80 cents, while Pennsylvania did not. Kruger and Card observed that job growth in the fast food industry was similar in both states and found no indication that a rise in minimum wage reduced employment. Their findings were corroborated by economics Christos Doukaliogos, PhD in TD, and Stanley, PhD, in a review of 64 minimum wage studies. The authors found little to no evidence of the negative association between minimum wages and employment. So we believe that Robert's workability and disadvantage claims to our plan of action were flawed, as the evidence shows. Thank you.